I'm Bitcoin Cathie, and today we're diving deep into one of the most exciting and controversial topics in the world of Bitcoin. Where is Bitcoin heading this cycle? When you've been in the game for a while, you get to hear all kinds of price predictions, ranging from, well, the frankly disappointing, to the answer to all your prayers. Are we heading for six figures? 200,000? 500,000? Or are we going higher? So in this video, I'm breaking down 8 of the most talked about price predictions from some of the top voices in the space. These are people moving markets, writing the models, and betting big on what happens next. So whether you're already buying, holding, or just watching from the sidelines, this one's for you. Let's start with the man behind one of the most famous Bitcoin models ever created, PlanB. The anonymous analyst PlanB is the creator of the stock-to-flow model, which compares Bitcoin's scarcity to commodities like gold and silver. According to his model, the Bitcoin price should rise as the number of new coins being mined continues to shrink. And following the most recent halving, PlanB believes we're on track to hit at least $250,000 during this current cycle, possibly higher. He's been vocal on X, formerly Twitter, saying that the model is still intact, and this is the part of the cycle where things start accelerating. So if you believe in math, scarcity, and history repeating itself, PlanB says, strap in. We haven't even hit the most exciting part yet. Next up, Cathie Wood. The CEO of Ark Invest is known for bold calls, and she's made it clear. She sees Bitcoin going much, much higher. According to Ark's research, their base case is $700,000 per Bitcoin by the year 2030. So not this cycle, but by the year 2030. And if everything goes right, their bull case puts Bitcoin between $1.5 and $2.4 million. Now remember, Cathie's not just tossing numbers into the air. Ark's models are based on adoption rates, institutional inflows, global monetary trends, and the idea that Bitcoin could replace a significant portion of gold holdings and even some government bonds in the future. She believes that institutions are coming, and when they do, they won't be buying 1 or 2 Bitcoin. They'll be buying billions of dollars worth. All right, let's take a detour to a smaller but very informative YouTube channel. G Crypto is a relatively new channel that's been gaining traction for its technical analysis and historical comparisons. I enjoy watching G for his more technical analyses. G recently published a video laying out why he believes Bitcoin could reach a cycle top of around 338,000. Yes, that is a very specific number, and it's based on a detailed analysis of Bitcoin's relative strength index, or RSI, on the monthly chart. He looked at previous market tops and noticed a recurring pattern in how RSI peaks during a bull run. Based on that, his conclusion is that this cycle still has room to run, potentially all the way up to the high 300,000 range. Now let's hear from a true legend in the Bitcoin space, Adam Back. If you don't know who Adam is, he is the CEO of Blockstream and one of the original cypherpunks. By the way, a cypherpunk is someone who believes in using strong encryption and privacy-enhancing technologies to protect people's personal freedom and privacy, especially in the digital age. He's also been cited in the Bitcoin white paper and is one of the earliest believers in digital scarcity. Anyway, Adam Back thinks this cycle could send Bitcoin somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million. That's right, up to $1 million this cycle. Why? He argues that we're finally seeing the beginning of true institutional interest. We've got ETFs approved in the US, corporate treasuries buying Bitcoin, and a growing narrative that Bitcoin is digital gold, or even better. Back also notes that the supply of Bitcoin is decreasing, all while demand is growing. And when those two forces collide, you tend to get explosive moves. Now let's shift gears to the big banks. Standard Chartered, a massive global financial institution, initially predicted Bitcoin would hit $120,000 by the end of this year. But recently, analyst Jeffrey Kendrick admitted that the target might actually be too low. Yes, one of the big banks has admitted that 120,000 is too low for this Bitcoin cycle. They now believe the market has underestimated the scale of capital that could shift into Bitcoin, especially from traditional investors and high net worth individuals who are looking for something outside of the traditional system. With supply decreasing and demand picking up, they see a strong case for much higher prices, revising their price target up to 200K by the year end. Next on the list is Raoul Pal. Now, Raoul is a former hedge fund manager at Goldman Sachs, and he is the founder of Real Vision, which is a financial media platform known for its in-depth macro analysis. Raoul is a big believer in the impact of global liquidity cycles, and right now he sees the macro environment turning very favorable for Bitcoin. His prediction? Anywhere between $250,000 and $450,000, likely peaking sometime between late 2025 and early 2026. He calls this the banana zone, the part of the cycle where things go vertical and prices go way higher than most people expect. He believes we are entering that zone now. Now let's talk about Chamath Palihapitiya, I hope I pronounced that correctly, the billionaire tech investor and former Facebook executive. Chamath has always been a big picture thinker, and he sees Bitcoin as something even bigger than digital gold. In his eyes, Bitcoin is a hedge against geopolitical chaos, runaway inflation, and the failure of fiat currencies. Chamath recently reiterated his call that Bitcoin could hit $500,000, and not decades from now. He's targeting October this year. His belief is that sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, and central banks may eventually adopt Bitcoin, and that will send the price to a level that reflects its true role as a global insurance policy. And finally, we have Michael Saylor, the man who bet his entire public company, MicroStrategy, on Bitcoin. Saylor doesn't just make predictions, he lives them. His company now holds over 500,000 Bitcoins, and he continues to buy more. Saylor has said that Bitcoin will reach $1 million within the next decade, and as high as $13 million by the year 2045. He sees Bitcoin as digital property, a monetary network that's thermodynamically sound, resistant to debasement, and mathematically guaranteed to outlast fiat currency. Now, whether or not you agree with that timeline, you can't deny his conviction. So what does all of this mean? On the low end, we've got Standard Chartered, talking about 120 to 200,000. In the mid-range, we've got PlanB, Raoul Pal, and Adam Back, aiming for 250, 500, or even $1 million. And then at the top end, we've got Cathie Wood, Chamath, and Michael Saylor, who are all laying down visions of Bitcoin as a multi-million-dollar global reserve asset. Of course, no one knows for sure how this cycle will end. But what these predictions show us is that the narrative has shifted. Bitcoin is no longer a fringe experiment. It's being modeled by hedge funds, banks, billionaires, and governments. Whether it hits 120,000 or 1 million, we're clearly in uncharted territory. Now, I just want to be clear, you should not be making investments based on price predictions. Sometimes they are right, but more often they are wrong. They are more for entertainment than anything else. The thing that you can take from them is understanding some of the factors that contribute to the thinking of these analysts when they are making their predictions. You will find some common threads such as global liquidity and institutional adoption, which will help enhance your understanding of Bitcoin's value and its price movements. And as far as these predictions go, I will revisit them at the end of this year to see exactly where we are at and if any of them have played out as predicted. So make sure you stay tuned. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments which prediction you think will prove right, or if you think they're all way off. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more no-hype Bitcoin breakdowns. See you in the next video.